Now you're fucking with the champs.
That brought me back to the old days.
That champ shit ain't getting any less stupid.
No, I like men. That brought me back to my rave days right there.
Did you say I like men?
No.
I think that's what I said. I like men.
I like
huh?
men right now.
Man, that house music made me realize that I like men.
Fuck,
like
man. Fuck, man.
I like to. You know what I like to? I like to.
Fuck, man.
We'll get into that.
How's your eardrums feel on that? Ladies and gentlemen, you're fucking with the champs.
Fucking with the champs.
Great question.
Et cetera, et cetera. Doug's going off.
We're settling right into our groove. It's just about to be the holidays, and we're all settling into our family roles. You know,
Mark Maron, who you just played, I had 2 dealings with this week. Both of them negative.
Drug dealings?
No, regular social dealings. I had...
Start off with number one. Where was
start
it?
off number 1. Thank you. Should we? Well, we'll introduce it, I guess, in a second.
After the story.
So Maron, I've known Maron.
Just say, let Moshe say that Maron just wrote a very nice blurb for my upcoming book, and I think he's a great dude, great guy.
Oh, then you don't know him. He basically, I did his podcast a long time ago, not a long, 6 months ago. So I didn't like because I felt like he didn't respect me. Anyhow, we had an argument at the Comedy Cellar 2 months ago. People thought we were going to fist fight.
Oh no!
It
really?
didn't come to that. We ended up having a
I
night.
think Mark could probably get with you, dude.
I don't know.
He's muscular,
Is he really?
and he looks like an adventurer.
He's muscular?
Yeah,
Where have you seen him muscular?
Because like sometimes I'll slowly take his shirt off, you know, and like
Right.
run my fingers across his
Okay.
chest. No, he works out. He's a muscular dude.
Do you consider me muscular?
I do not consider you muscular.
All right.
There's something I need to tell you.
You're in shape, but you're small. I mean, you're skinny. is what
I'm
saying.
skinny, but
I
the
don't mean
Irish,
small.
there's like an Irish thing that
you
like
alcoholism.
whatever you have, you triple by 3 once you put
it's
Irish
like Hulk
rage.
strength?
Yeah, Irish
Wow.
rage.
Was the Hulk because he was green? Was he Irish?
He was. That's true. That's
funny.
David Banner. Banner is a Irish name. So anyway, so I saw him this week. Long story short, we worked it out. We made peace. Then I saw him last Thursday, and
Did he say at the end, was he like, are we good?
yeah, he did actually.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, dude, I get it. It's a hook now. Enough saying
That's a really
that.
great question.
Enough forcing that into your interviews. So I saw him at some club last week, and he goes, he was like, "How are you, Brennan?" And I was like, "Yeah, good." And he goes, "Keep it short," which is like, I don't want to talk to you. Like, what? The fact that he tries to just constantly like throw a power dynamic or a shutdown move, which goes back to the thing of him like not respecting him. It was like, I don't want. And then someone else, and then he wrote about me on Twitter like Neal's got issues, which is like, all right, dude, it was. I just realized. Now I had a completely when he said keep it short, I was like, we had a nice talk about Patrice. It was short. I kept it short like he wanted.
So you were like,
yeah.
hey, Mark, and he's like, keep it short. What do you have to say?
It was
right?
basically that. No, he was like, "What's up, Brennan?" I was like, "Hey, Mark," and he goes, "How are you?" I go, and he goes, "Keep it short." And I was like, "Okay."
Oh, it wasn't
well,
about
maybe
your
he's
set.
riffing. Maybe it's a
No,
joke.
no. I know, but
It was a
that's the
joke.
thing with Maron is like he has admitted on the show, even when he's joking, he's not joking. He's
Right.
like he means it. Play that again, Doug.
Played at a volume level.
So yeah. So I had I had a few run-ins with Mark, and then he said something about on Twitter. Like,
Wait, before you do the
issues.
second issue, could you?
No, that
do me a
was the
favor?
second was on Twitter. He
But
said,
just do me a
"I've got
favor,
issues."
keep it short.
Yeah, of course.
That was, you know what? That was kind of a live humble brag.
Which
It's
one?
like, Mark Maron came up to me and he's like, "What's up, Brennan?" And then then he
shittiest-
talked to me about, and then he
I gotta
mentioned me
say,
on Twitter.
That's the
Hashtag-
shittiest humble brag.
It's a live
I've ever heard
hashtag.
of.
Right
So what's
there.
up? Are you?
Here's a real brag. I have twice the amount of followers as him. No big deal.
Are you starting to? Are you beefing right now?
No, I'm beefing with Doug.
Is this an East Coast West Coast?
No, I don't know. It's
Next
not
time you
humble
pass
brag.
gas,
Also,
make
fuck-
sure no police are around.
Also, fuck humble brag. While we're on the subject, I like Harris.
Damn.
He's a nice kid.
Can I just say,
But that's
Moshe?
some
Harris
real.
is my friend. I like him a lot. Good dude.
Go
Good
ahead.
dude.
I'm friends with Harris. He's a good guy. Like,
You're calling out names like a dad.
but I'm
song
saying
right now.
like, it's some bitch shit. Like it's like some tattletale shit. Like nice story. Humble brag.
It's
like
funny.
I understand it's funny, but it's also 10% bitch shit. let's introduce our guest.
Holy mother!
We can get back to. I'll say this to Harris.
No, but let me just say that what is hilarious is for the champs off the air. What's hilarious is that before we started this
I think
episode,
he feels a little guilty. That's why he 10% doesn't like humble brag.
No, but before we
For what?
Hold on, let me tell the story. Before we started
Guilty for
recording
what?
this episode,
humble
Doug
brag.
said to us, "All right, this episode, let's just say nice things about people. Let's
look,
keep it
man.
positive."
I like
and literally
the problem with humble brag is
Real quick,
fuck
let
the game.
me tell a story.
Fuck Snoop. Fuck Daz. I don't give a fuck.
There's
East
a ton
Coast.
of people on humble brag. It's like Harris will call humble brag on like people he doesn't know, but then when people he knows do it, he won't call them on it. Which is like, no, dude, you gotta play it. You gotta walk the walk. You can't.
He's
like,
humble bragged me before.
He has.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he has.
On the internet.
Yeah. Not
Great.
just- Oh.
Just not on the street.
Yeah. What's up, dog? You humble bragging?
Like Doug tried to do me.
Let's
He tried to do me dirty.
let's introduce our guest, and then we'll get back to talking character assassinating our peers. Oh yeah.
Okay. Our guest.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to the stage.
All the way from Atlanta.
Sitting down with the champs. You're from Atlanta?
Yes.
You've seen him at the.
You've seen him at the comedy store. You've seen him at the unknown thing. You've seen him at all the alt rooms and underground rooms of Los Angeles. He's black. Maybe physically the blackest person we've had on the guest, just in terms of pigment.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Byron Bowers. Yeah.
Freestyle. Okay.
All
Are you
right.
going freestyle?
No.
You know there's a rule on the channel.
I'll
bring it back.
Black people can freestyle.
Right,
but
black people.
I'd rather they not.
Right.
No, this will be embarrassing.
All right. So the reason Byron's on the show, we haven't really had any black people from the South.
Right.
I
true.
guess Gerard is from the South.
Are all
Yeah.
black people from the South?
In a sense, in historical
yeah,
fashion.
hemispherically, yes, absolutely.
Well, you know, I grew up in Oakland, and all the. Have I ever mentioned that I grew up
Have
in
you
Oakland?
said that? I've never heard that before.
You know what? Growing up in Oakland is my co-created The Chappelle Show.
I absolutely. That's good. That's very good.
That's the North. Don't cut off.
No, but all the black folks in Oakland are from. They moved from Oklahoma, and they moved. That's true, which is weird. Oakland, Oklahoma, and they moved from Louisiana. So it's a very, for being as far north as it is, it's a very southern culture.
Well, that's just some weird like settler shit where
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
they got jobs in Oakland,
Yeah,
so
exactly
then everyone
right.
just goes
Right,
like one
totally.
guy goes there, gets a job, and then everybody else just shows up behind him. All right, here's the thing I like about you,
Okay.
Byron. In the time I've known you, in the 3, 4, 5 years, however long I've known you, I've seen you moved up here from Atlanta, and I've seen you transform from what I would call, kind of a bammer ass country
a
motherfucker.
stupid ass fucking country motherfucker, a moonshine swilling, banjo playing. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, banjos,
That's your shit.
You
You're
fuck with the banjo,
proficient.
right?
That's also all white shit. that you
only
just
the
mentioned.
dueling of the
That's
banjos.
true.
That is a nice song.
I bet black people drink moonshine. Everybody likes
Yeah,
liquor.
everybody
Do
likes
they?
moonshine.
What?
Yeah. Yes.
But
Okay,
you're right. There's
so
not a
I
lot of
like
black people with twirling mustaches.
twirling mustaches, chasing black people off their
on
property.
a riverboat with a paddle. Yeah.
All
What's
right,
that?
and
Do you drink that purple drink?
Oh, scissor.
Well, there's also purple drink.
I like
It's
that
not
you call
racist.
it
I read about
drank.
it in the news.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
drink it.
Oh,
Scissor.
the news is never racist, so it has
Yeah.
to be.
Well, I'm sorry for asking a question.
I like
Oh,
this.
come
no,
on, Doug.
how do
Doug,
you immediately go into self-pity mode? I've never seen someone go to self-pity. Are you like this everywhere, Doug?
We got a panda on his shirt, so
No, that's what I mean. Like, because it's like, well, what's
You owe this
the-
family an apology.
All right. What I
is
like
that?
about you is that so I've seen you go, and I've seen you kind of expand your horizons.
yes.
Go through some differences between L.A. and Atlanta, and just the South in general that you've learned.
That racism was really. I learned how racist black people are. You know what I mean?
In L.A.
And from the South,
Oh, got it.
The difference is like we come up with a more of a white man is the devil mentality.
In the South,
Yeah,
as
in the
opposed to
South,
here.
as opposed to here, where everybody's like, "Hey, we all going to the movies together."
Huh.
Like I still
Believe lightweight, the white
believe-
man is the devil.
Not like if a piece of hair follow me from a white person, I think Like
Ooh.
they trying to get me sick still. You know, it's like getting those thoughts.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Jesus.
It's like
Piece
it's
of
like
hair.
getting
It's
those.
so weird that you
thoughts.
guys confused white people with the Jews. I mean, it's like
I've learned the separation in white people since I've been in LA.
Oh, that some white people are very, very aggressive and mean, say Neal Brennan, and some are more welcoming and.
Well, I
and
like
wholesome.
that. How often are white people dropping hair on you?
That could
Like,
happen.
hey,
though.
you see
Well,
those black people?
they're
I'm
not-
going to go drop some hair on them.
Well, it's not. They don't drop hair.
Now I understand the separation of the barbershops.
Yeah.
They're so afraid.
That's that devil powder on the ground right there.
What the hell is that? You know. But I've lived with a Jewish person, a Latino, a white person. So it's just those.
And who's
being
your
into
least
the
favorite?
home. There's no least favorite because I'm the type that I soak everything in.
Move that.
I soak
had to
everything
restart
in.
it.
You know, so I learn. You know, from every culture that I'm around.
What do you truly believe white people are evil about? Like real life.
I don't think it's evil. I think it's a nature to be inquisitive and to go out and explore and just,
White people?
just to,
Yeah.
to take over. You know.
Oh.
Now, as a black man, I've embodied some of that, which
Uh-huh.
I guess we can get into the alienation of.
Oh, Alienation? I love that show.
Like
They drink curdled milk.
of how a black person such as myself can be alienated from his community. In a
Yeah,
sense.
that's what happened. So he came here. He learned that white people's hair is basically harmless. Basically, in most cases,
I mean,
will
if they
not
wanted
get.
you to get sick, a hair would probably be the.
And it doesn't smell bad neither. You know.
Well, we talked about that with
Like
Wayne
Red
Brady.
Dog.
I believe that white
Red
people
Dog.
actually do. What white people
He
do
smelled
smell
like milk.
Do smell like wet dog.
And-
when y'all wet.
Yeah, when we're all wet.
He smelled like milk.
So you believe that black people in the South are? Well, that's the thing is, black people in the South are. It's so fucking segregated that you do think that white people are the devil because
people.
you don't have any access to white people beyond
Well-
just like the boss or the.
Why the boss?
Well, last week I was talking to my grandmother.
Because white people are mostly the boss.
Yeah, mostly the boss.
Yeah, again, I love how you're politically correct.
I'm just having fun over
No, you're
here.
politically correct Oakland shit. Like, well, I don't want to say that. No,
Welcome
fuck.
to the real world, Will.
Don't Mark Maron me, man. I'm just your
No, I'm
friend.
American going after you.
That's funny. Well, I was talking to my grandmother, and I was trying to explain to her, a 70-year-old, that racism is not as heavy as it is.
Right.
And she was like, well, I was like, you could trust, white people, black people, everybody go out to dinner here. And she was like, well, it's not like that here. These crackers, you can't trust,
Right.
And I'm like, wow. It's like, okay, maybe it's a generation further than I thought it was.
Well, I mean, fair enough. I do think there's. You wouldn't have to really examine deeply why a 70-year-old black woman in the South would not like white people. I feel
Well,
like.
it's
Right, but to still call us crackers, I think is downright
Yeah,
disrespectful.
it
Can
is
we get your
disrespectful.
grandmother on the phone? Hello, Granny?
You owe this family an apology.
so.
Yeah, no, that's all right. So now,
Wait,
you-
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry but you think white? Okay, so white people's natural nature is to go out and explore but so do you think that if Africa had developed as quickly as Europe, it would not have gone to Europe and conquered Europe?
Hell no.
You really think that they would have been like, it's all good?
Oh, you don't think that the we'll call it the African spirit, since we're fucking there's no better term for it, is not one of domination and colonization?
I wouldn't say that. That's like me saying I don't think black people own black people.
Right.
But I think it is it wouldn't have been done right. Like if we would have took over the world, it would be crazy. Only thing.
A lot of hip hop.
Only thing been different was the boat ride over here.
Oh, so you do think that everything would have been the same? It's just the tables would have been turned.
I mean, as
Boats
man,
would have been
now
different.
you're talking about I think man's nature is to go out and take over.
That's what I think too. When
Do you
get
think that
power-
that's especially white people? Because I kind of do. I think it's
Well, it's
culturally.
only
I don't know
because
what's
it's only
cultural
because
and
white
what.
people happened to have hit the technological jackpot a little bit quicker than
Right.
the rest of the world. I mean, it wasn't even white people; it was European people. In a particular part of Europe,
Who
really.
all happen to be white.
right, but
Although
like,
the Spanish.
But Russian, they're all white. But the Russians were behind the rest of Europe, so it took them a little longer. Once they caught up, bam! That's why sometimes when I hear like, when you study the like the destruction of the Native American people, like I actually think that's the worst thing that's ever happened in history. Worse than slavery, worse than the Holocaust. This is just my opinion. I know you can't really quantify that, but
it's nice to hear a Jew say that the Holocaust wasn't as bad as something else.
I do think that, but when we celebrate them in this kind of like ridiculous fetishized way, like, oh, the Native Americans, they were so perfect and in harmony with the nature. It's like, really, if you had waited 1,000 years and the Native Americans had come up with steel and guns and steel and horses and boats, they probably would have just sailed across the sea. Maybe not, but I just feel like human nature defaults when it gets to a certain power level. It defaults to let's go get some
absolute free for all.
Let's take some shit.
I agree with that. And do you agree with that, Byron?
In a sense, yeah.
So, do you believe that black people, when given all the laws of nature and humanity apply to black people as well, all the thing about like if absolute power corrupts absolutely, if black people had all the guns, germs, and steel that white people had, they would have conquered the earth just as much?
To a certain extent, I do believe it, especially when corruption is involved.
Right, but what I'm saying is tell me the difference that you don't believe.
I would say now I think it's more of a spiritual sense behind that of the reason why it didn't go down. You know what I mean? I think black people have always been spiritual and followed those guidelines.
But do you know that Africans are? Because you may be just putting that in a post-slavery North American black person.
I mean, like as I consider, like even Africans, I know they're real religious and spiritual. You know?
That could be just due to being evangelized by white people.
I think it's quite. He's absolutely correct.
Well, I'm not
agree
talking
with
about the
Byron.
Christian religion. I'm talking about like
just in general.
Even back, the Muslim religion, or even back when they was worshiping goats or whatever. You know what I mean?
This is back in the South in the 80s.
We was worshiping drugs and money then. But yeah, I think that helped, and I think like that being more spiritual and I would think white people were a little more book religious,
Oh, we claim to be religious.
Well,
but
y'all can make
actually
it up. Y'all can like, okay, this is what God said.
Yeah, no, well, we'll change the Bible if enough of us want to change the Bible.
Everybody. I mean, all religion is just filled with people that are corrupting religion to poison the well. I mean,
but he's talking about the book. I mean, he's talking about. I would say that Christians, from what I know, are the biggest hypocrites.
Absolutely not.
You don't think so?
No.
Of the religions, go ahead. How would you rank them?
Every religion is filled in
no, but I'm saying
proportion.
In my experience, I found Christians, maybe because it's where I'm from.
Well, look, here's the thing. Here's my opinion. It's like all these Christians are barking about how upset they are about militant Islam, and it is true that right now militant Islam seems to be the biggest problem area of religion in the world. But if you were to have gone 300 years ago or 500 years ago, the same exact and much more violence was being perpetrated by the Christians that were.
But I think there's still more.
If you were to go 500 years before that, it would have been the Romans that were the big. Paganism was the biggest problem.
I'm just saying. Yeah, in my experience, Christians are the biggest hypocrites. Even more than Muslims. I don't. The amount of Muslim hypocrites proportionate to the amount of Muslims I know is small. And the stuff that Muslims are hypocrites about are.
You're saying hypocrite so that's a very specific. You mean specifically saying one thing and doing another?
Well, as somebody that was baptized twice in the southern Bible Belt region, I would think
How do you get baptized twice?
Did you
change your name?
No, you just. I feel I got three. You know what I mean? As a Christian, and I embrace my I guess ignorance in the Christian faith, which means that I'm going to heaven either way, no matter what I do.
Oh well, that's not Christianity. That's some bullshit.
Well, once you accept Jesus,
no, that is
as
Christianity.
your Lord and Savior.
Yeah,
all your sins are forgiven.
Yeah.
So let the games begin. Now.
Oh, so let me get out there and start fucking.
Let me get this. Let me sling some dick.
So as soon as I get baptized, I'm gonna just go start like making black people sick with my hair, just all over the place.
As soon as you still can be wet and
smell like a wet dog.
Because the change happens slowly, so there's no.
So you can fuck around your whole life and then have a deathbed conversion, and everybody. And
a lot of Christians believe that.
Maybe I can get a piece of the action.
Well, you don't believe in any of it.
No, but I especially don't believe in that. I actually think that that's downright unfair, and I actually don't think that that's in the Bible.
No, here's the real truth.
Well, it's not preached, but it's an undertone. That's why.
No, I know, but if it's not preached, then if it's not in
John
the Bible, then
3:16.
Brother, preach.
what is John 3:16?
For the Lord so loveth the earth that he gave unto it his only Son, and he whosoever follows him shall not die, but shall taste eternal life. That's Moshe Kasher, Jew
Fuck.
speaking.
I didn't
You're
know
a
that.
special Jew.
I did not know that myself. I couldn't repeat that.
Well, that is the basic tenet of faith of Christianity. Just like the Muslims have, Allah is God, and there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is prophet. Jews have Bank of America is ours. Give us the money. Like we each have. Our Thank you.
Profit from pain. That's the Jewish.
No, we have. Oh, profit. Is that right? Is that our thing?
Profit from pain. Jay-Z told me that.
Oh, Jay-Z had his black fraternity.
right,
That's what I just realized recently is that all these like big black rappers are frat boys.
I don't know if
Kanye,
that's true.
All this, Diamond.
That's
Hand,
Rockefeller.
but that comes from their black fraternity.
I don't think Damon or Jay went to college.
They went to street college.
Well, that is a female sorority, the Deltas.
Oh, the
But
Deltas.
that's all mathematics. That's old mathematics.
All right, right.
Wait,
but
let me ask
the
you
rock
this.
symbol is not a fraternity sign, is it?
Who knows where it comes from?
I don't think it's a fraternity
Here's
sign.
an important question.
No, Moshe, will you admit that it's not a fraternity sign?
I thought it was. I
Okay.
could be wrong.
It's-
I'll
no,
admit
it's
that
not.
Some frats.
Somebody
do.
told me that it
Yeah.
was.
Right. So you found that racism in LA is very different than. Explain to me,
Matter
like,
of fact, racism in LA is behind closed doors. It's in the South. It's in your face. Maybe because we all could tote guns. I
Right.
don't know, but it's a freedom in being able to be, to me, racist. In public.
right.
You don't have to hold it in.
Explain to me the difference between you and most of your family, because I feel like the more the longer you've been out here, the more sort of progressive you become.
I think
Because I saw you do like a joke about a year ago about something with faggots or gay or something, and it
Yeah.
kind of bombed, and I was like, yo, man, that shit's over.
But yeah, I was told out here with certain things you couldn't do, and I was like, my thing is always questioning that authority. 'Cause
Right.
That's something that as black people we don't really do.
What
And
don't
I
you
think
do?
Don't question authority.
Oh,
what I mean?
okay.
Because of the environments we come up in.
Within the black community, you don't question authority?
Not really. If your mom tell you to do something, then you would do it. You got the cops, around.
Yeah,
telling
black
you to do
people are
stuff.
notoriously obedient.
Black people.
Well, it's always this thing. So nobody ever questions like why. Nobody ever asks like why are we in this position? Like not I ain't gonna say nobody, but not too many of us do that.
Right.
Nobody looks at their parents and then try.
That's
to
not an excuse.
decisions outside of that,
Right.
which is a struggle.
Yeah, no, that is. Because as a white person, you just immediately rebel against your parents.
Fuck you, Mom.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of my room, Mom. Greg. You're not my real dad anyway. Whereas black people, there is not, that's not the tendency.
I mean, even the way, I curse around my mother, which a lot of my black friends don't like.
Right.
Right? But they don't know I didn't start cursing until I was 18 because those was the rules.
Oh, really? Your mother was like, you will
Well,
not
just
curse?
anyway, that was a general to me that was like a law. Like you couldn't curse, and I was a good kid. I just got corrupted later once I started living. I started just rebelling myself, like my senior year in high school. But I was the A and B student.
What happened in your senior year in high school?
I don't know, man. I just years.
Maybe I can get a piece of the action.
I went from a nerd to a jock. I went from
Sexually, you made love to a nerd and then a jock?
No, I went from like getting my ass whipped every day to
Whipping ass.
whipping ass. Having a crew, and just not having friends to having friends. Like I've seen both sides.
Right.
Sounds like you really took what you learned from getting your ass beat and put it to good use.
Well,
That's
I applied some of
exactly
it.
the point of the
white people. Yeah, I
Exactly,
agree.
the
Is
earlier
that
conversation.
everybody hates a bully until they get a chance to be it, and then they're
be a
like,
bully.
"Oh, fuck it, I'm not against bullying. I was just against
Yeah.
getting my ass beat."
You want to believe that as a nerd, once you got a little bit of social currency, you'd be like, "Hey guys, put a stop to this."
Yeah.
But no, instead you're like, "Let's get the little nerd," and then
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even my thing with the so-called Illuminati. My thing is like, okay, regardless of what these people do, they made a plan that lasted for so long. I never made a plan that lasted that long before. So that's the weird admiration I got for these people to bring everybody in and then make it go forth.
What do you think's faker, the Illuminati or religion?
Oh, I think that. I would say that the Illuminati is faker because it is straight up doesn't exist.
Right.
But there are things about the Illuminati that are real. When people talk about the Illuminati, they're speaking about real phenomenon, which is, the power being,
the gold standard
tied up in a very
Rothschild.
small group of people, and, a big business making decision for poor people and ruining the world. So that actually is real. But religion actually...
I was like, indeed.
But I think religion actually, I give religion a lot more credit than you do.
Yeah.
But it exists, at least. It might be based on bullshit, but it's at least definitely a thing that's there.
But
I think both could be the same, honestly.
The Rothschilds exist as a family. The Rockefellers exist
as
a family.
All the weird sort of anthropomorphization of the Rothschilds as these sort of, I guess they're people, but they're monsters. They make them into these mega people who have these diabolical plans for the world. And you know what? And it's a lot of it is just anti-Semitism. I do definitely believe.
You know what's funny is the Rockefellers aren't Jewish, are they?
The Rockefellers we're not Jews.
I've never thought the Rothschilds were Jewish.
From my understanding, the Rothschilds' name was changed from Bauer, B-A-U-R.
B-A-U-R.
So
this is one of the. What does that mean?
I mean, it was like the Rothschild I forgot why I've heard this at, but it means Red Shield. It's more of a German name, but they was going to overthrow another government back then. So they met in this place that had this red star outside, and that's where the Rothschild came.
Did anybody walk on water or turn loaves into fishes?
I have to tell you, this is true. One of the things that has always, speaking of things, beliefs about groups that have always bummed you out. A thing that's always bummed me out is that sort of that vein in the sort of black militant community that is so welcoming of things like the Protocols of the Elders of Zion and all the anti-Semitic propaganda, which is just more
spooky. It was spooky.
It is spooky, but it's just like more weird racist stuff. Like one racist a group subjected to racism taking the racist propaganda of another group and be like, it's like
But I gotta say, I find so little anti-Semitism in the world. Like I know you bring it up a lot and I've Jewish comics bring it up a lot.
Sure.
The amount of times I've heard people whisper about the Jews is it's never happened.
Oh,
do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
So when people go the Jew run media, from what I can tell, the Jews do run the media. They own the media, but I don't think that really affects the outcome one way or the other. I think
but it's not some happenstance. Oh, there happen to be a lot of Jews in the media. Nobody would ever deny that there's a lot of Jews that work in media. That's not what people mean when they say the Jews run the media. They mean that there are a group, that there is a Jewish idea. There's a plan, like an Illuminati-esque plan for the media that's being run by the Jews, and that there's some sort of thing that you're not privy to that's happening behind the scenes that the Jews are doing. Right. I've heard I've heard as much
people not knowing that you're Jewish.
Or
people thinking they're like, "Hey, well, can I talk to you about Judaism?"
A lot of different stuff. Like I'll put a tweet up. I've had it all. I mean, I've had every, super benign stuff like, an offhanded joke. I don't care about that. Somebody's like, they Jewed me down. I don't like it.
No, but the only people I hear making those jokes are Jews.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? In a paranoid way.
I have to agree with Neal on that. I've never heard anyone speak derogatory.
All right, I've heard one time a rapper was saying that he wanted to go pitch something in a network, and he's like, I just got to get some Jews to go with me. Which...
That doesn't bother. That doesn't.
Right, and I don't even think it's true. I don't because it's like it implied that I was Jewish, and that's why Dave used. And I'm not Jewish.
You're close enough. You're a white guy.
I have a heck of a nose.
But with my logic, I can understand certain things being around Jewish people as an outsider. I notice certain stuff. So when I hear stuff like they run the media, in my mind, they associate with each other so much. I don't think you could tell. I ain't gonna say this, but if you tell a Jewish person something, I guarantee you in an hour, 15 might know.
Okay, so now you have an example of hearing.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. But again, that's from the guy who said if white people get their hair on you. Like, look, 15, if you tell a Jew something within 15, so that implies that Jews are gossipy.
Yeah, are good at giving news. That's how I look at it. That's how
No, I mean,
justify-
I don't know who your Jewish friends are.
But
They're
look-
fucking. I find my Jewish friends, are they more gossipy than normal? Some of them are.
After 9/11, people, half of the, most of the Muslim world believed that no Jews died in 9/11.
Right.
Now, Muslims might have it.
What?
And I'm being very, very, very loose with the might have had something to do with the attack on 9/11.
What?
Let's say that they did,
Right.
right? Let's say that there
Yeah,
was some
hypothetically.
Kuwaiti and Saudi
Yeah,
nationals
yeah.
that were on
Yeah,
those
yeah.
planes,
Yep.
but it wasn't fully George Bush run drones.
Yeah.
So they actually were involved in the attack. The Jews were not, but the idea of Jewish sort of conspiracy
Scapegoating.
and
Scapegoating
Kabbalism
Jews.
is so ingrained in that world that they were able to and in fact the Prime Minister of Pakistan and the President of Iran said it on national
At the
television.
UN. Yeah, he said it at the UN.
That no Jews died in 9/11
Right.
in 9/11 as if to say that
Is that to say that no Jews worked in the finance industry, which is insane?
What?
It's that they all found out. Like somebody emailed Saul and was like, "Saul, we're gonna collapse the tower, so don't go to work." And Saul and
Right.
all of the other Jews heard that. Not only did they hear it, but they also kept it to themselves.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Is it
Nobody
implies
snitched.
that Jews can keep secrets from Gentiles,
or yeah,
which they can't. Like your theory of if you tell a Jew within an hour, 15 other Jews will know. That sounds biblical, actually.
I've heard. I'm actually
if
surprised.
you tell one Sikh fact to a Jew, that's. Do you understand, Byron? That that's crazy.
Yeah, I do understand this.
Okay.
Well, they are a people that, to their credit, are like they're close knit community.
I'll
So
give you that.
maybe that is-
Any group of people are more apt to hire that same type of person.
Oh, there's no question that Jews
Right.
are like they have attributes, just
Right.
like every group has attributes.
Yeah.
Black
But
people
I don't
act
think
a
I don't
certain
think
way.
gossipy is
Chinese people
is
act a certain
especially-
way. Jews are.
person nobody likes.
I think they network great and get information fast.
But what is that based on? What they
Based on-
get information fast.
Well, we have a tube system. Like
No,
in
I know.
the movie
It sounds,
Brazil.
that's the part of it. That getting like I don't have. You were good, and then you go crazy when you say they get information. Information sounds really nefarious.
Well, yeah. I'm sticking by it as a Southerner. God damn it.
Jews, but what interaction do Southern black people have with Jews per se?
We really don't. Like, I'm learning about them now. You know what I mean?
Right, and you're learning that if they get information,
I learned this is
you're
my-
dealing with showbiz Jews, by the way.
Yeah,
so it's not like
Okay, yeah, that's true. I'm not
From the
I'm not
gateway
dealing
to
with
showbiz
the,
glory.
The city Jews on La Brea.
The city Jews and country Jews.
right.
Yeah, and in Hollywood, honestly, and in New York, there's so many Jewish people, and I'm still like, wow, look at this. There go another one. You know, so to me,
Right.
And they're bigger in New York, like the rats.
To
Yeah.
me, they're anywhere, any other place in the nation, if you're black, you're the toughest person. But in Hollywood, the Jewish people are the tough people. To me,
That's pretty true.
This is
they
Hollywood
are
411.
They are the Crips. You know what I mean? They the gangbangers. You do not talk bad about them. Even in the black community.
What are
they
you
be like,
doing?
Oh, well, like
You're
now?
blowing it. Yeah.
Yeah, they like
They're going to come and shut. I mean, I don't. But having said that, I've never heard a Hollywood Jew claim like this is anti-Semitic and we need to do away with him. I think it's just like anti-Semitic.
Well,
it's not cool.
Mel Gibson came pretty close.
Yeah, but they were still fine with Mel Gibson until the girlfriend stuff. The Jews calls all the wars. They were still like, we'll give you another movie. That's fine. And Ari Emanuel, Jew, was the only one who was like, no, fuck this guy.
And I respected that a lot.
I did too.
I couldn't believe.
And then when he had the recording with his wife, and he said pack of N-words, and he said, "I hope you get."
That's the first time you've ever said.
I know. I don't know why I didn't.
But he's still probably doing work. I mean,
I don't think
he's
he
not
is.
banished from this.
He basically
Yeah,
is.
it's
He
like
can't get much
that-
work.
it was like
he can't.
so-
No
I-
Jew is going to work with him, and really nobody's going to work.
I
with
think
him.
Mel Gibson's on the way back.
You do, basically.
Yeah,
from what?
because they kept showing the Road Warrior. They were like rerunning it all weekend last weekend. I'm serious.
That is as spurious a logical leap as Byron's
as
idea
the
about
Byron's
the Jews.
Jewish information.
I mean,
it's a good movie though.
And God knows they don't book these things 6 months in advance and buy them in packages.
But the fervor,
I think I reached my player status.
the fervor with which the black community jumped on the idea of Jews controlling the slave trade was really sad. It felt really sad.
Is that in the Protocols of Zion? I don't even know that.
No, but the idea that Jews were controlled. I'm sure you've heard this before, right? That the Jews were controlled the slave trade.
Controlled? I've never heard controlled.
Have you heard that?
I heard a little bit about it, but it doesn't.
Did it stick? Like when you
Not
think
to
of the
me.
slave trade, do you
Nope.
think doesn't
Nope.
go like? Doesn't it just go fucking
Well,
white people?
Farrakhan said it, for example.
Right.
And it was just like such a bummer because it's like, certainly I would never say there were no Jews involved in the slave trade, but the instinct to want to make it into some sort of conspiracy theory of a group of evil, nefarious Jews in an attic somewhere, like, let us start the slave trade, and not just the simple reality of human cruelty is,
Yeah.
it was sad. It was sad.
Well,
to
when
me.
you say Farrakhan, to me, you're talking about the Nation of Islam.
Well, Farrakhan
Right.
was one of the people that talked about that. Yeah,
Yeah, you're
Farrakhan.
talking about, and that's a different group of individuals.
No doubt.
Yeah,
but also for example, in Oakland, where I'm from Oakland. I co-created Oakland.
Nope.
They showed Schindler's List. They brought a group of kids from Castlemont, which is a high school in Oakland, to Schindler's List. Do you remember this? And the kids,
I remember Schindler's List.
and the kids laughed at the scenes of violence. Jews being murdered. The kids laughed, which didn't bother
Like
me.
Def Jam laugh, where they stood up and ran
You
back
remember?
and forth.
Do you remember? You remember in Menace to Society when they killed the Korean one?
Yeah.
Couple. And they, give me the motherfucking videotape.
Yeah.
I laughed when I saw that because of the way that I was raised. We were raised to think violence was like awesome and funny. So It didn't bother me when these kids laughed. They weren't ready for that, for the depth of what was happening. And so
Were
they
you there?
I wasn't
No.
ready for it. I wasn't. I tried to watch Schindler's List, and it was boring. So what I did was Google ostrich. Concentration
Google
camp.
ostrich?
What's it called?
Auschwitz. Not
I don't speak.
ostrich.
I don't speak German,
But you do speak bird, and I like that about you.
I don't speak. So I
fluent bird,
I
homie.
did Google the photos from that camp, and that's when I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, but you can imagine a high school kid laughing when they see.
Oh,
this-
yeah, if one
like,
kid laughs, they're all gonna laugh.
They see Jews being mowed down, like, "Bah, they fucked them Jews up." You know what I mean? I didn't
Yeah.
feel like that was that bad. But what happened was it created this national uproar.
Okay.
Steven Spielberg came to the school and was like, "I forgive you," and they were like, "Who are you?" Or
Someone pushed him down, and everybody laughed again, right?
But then they had these people come and do like sort of Jewish education seminar, as they will do when their weird racist thing will happen. And somebody again came and was just like, well, teaching a class at Castlemont, well, the Jews did control the entire slave trade. And it was just like more, it's just disappointing. And this moment of learning and truth kind of.
But it was slaves before.
There was fucking black people that had slaves. Yeah,
nobody
everybody
talks
had slaves.
about
Everybody had slaves. Yeah,
The Irish
Egyptians.
slaves that was first.
Right.
Me, I mentioned that they were here first. They just wasn't motivated.
I got into an argument recently with Eric Andre because that magazine Vice magazine.
Yeah.
My friend works for them, and she wanted me to write some stuff for Vice magazine.
Sure.
And I mentioned that to Eric, and he's like, "Oh, they're a bunch of fucking racists." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And he sent me a link to an article that came out like 6 years ago that this guy wrote about like, these like weird facts about slavery.
Uh-huh.
And one of them was like, there have been white slaves before, and all these other things, which it did stink of racism because he's deflecting the horrors of what the United States did to slavery with all these other like obscure facts about like like what you said, like Arab slaves and things like that. And he's like, and I was like, well, should I not write for this magazine because of this one article that you're offended by? I understand like that's probably an offensive article, but I mean, why don't other it's like, shouldn't other voices be heard? Like, Neal, if you had a chance to have your own show on Fox just to like go against the grain, wouldn't you take it?
On Fox News.
Yeah.
On Fox News?
Yeah, if I didn't have to talk their shit.
Like if you got to say your thing, if you had like, perfect, like a...
If I could say the Neal Brennan life, forgot to espouse the Neal Brennan lifestyle. Yeah, I would have a show. I mean, I'm not opposed to. It's like
I'm just like asking.
All these companies own all these Jews run five. There's 4 or 5 owners.
Do you think I should not write for this magazine because my black friend thinks it's racist.
I
think you should write
I
for it.
reject the idea that it's racist, that they're racist based on
That's
one
besides
article.
the point. I had a back and forth with him.
Well,
I think they do some really incredible journalism.
Well, actually, that's not true because I once had an ex-girlfriend in the do's of the do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And she was seriously was a don't. She was a big time. I almost wrote a letter to the editor and said you included a person in your do's.
That stuff is like for comedy purposes.
No, I think it's journalistic.
She was in the dues.
irresponsible.
She was in the dues section, and
If you
she was
knew
a
this
don't?
girl, you would know
Wait,
how
and she was your girlfriend?
journalistically irresponsible it was for them to put
Do you
her in.
date don'ts?
I do date don'ts.
You do don'ts?
I do don'ts.
Do you ever do do's?
He's from Oakland, man. That's full of don'ts.
It's
I've
all
been
don'ts.
done don'ts. I've been done don'ts. I do.
You've been had done don'ts.
I done
correct?
doing don'ts, and I do donuts. Well, I'll be doing
Kristen
the donut
Dunst.
with the don't.
Kristen Dunst is the
don't.
dude. I will do a don't named Dunst.
In a donk.
But don't.
That is crazy. I think everybody's racist.
I agree.
Sure, everybody's right.
Also, the idea that the Jews and the blacks have been first of all, among white people, I shouldn't say, the last time I heard anything about Jews and blacks was when I was like in high school, grade school. So I would in Chicago. Chicago's real
Right.
racist. They'd be like the blacks are
What?
Jews, and I was always like it never made sense to me.
well, maybe you're not sensitive to it. I'm not.
I'm not being an
I
asshole. remember every.
I hyper hear all that shit.
No, I hear every. I'm very sensitive to racism in a good way and a bad way. Like I
Right.
love it and despise it at the same time.
Right,
Like,
sure.
I think it's the funniest thing in the world that people are just like Jews are good with disseminating information. For instance, as like a crazy stereotype.
You're the person nobody likes.
I had a funny kind of like image stereotype, like looking like a total bigot moment the other night. I did this show at the Pleasure Chest, and Ian Harvey was there. Do you know who that is?
No.
He is a transgendered comedian.
Okay.
He was born a woman, but is now a man. And he had the flu. And
Right.
I knew that because
The gay flu?
No,
Go
just
ahead.
the regular flu. Yeah, the flu.
The
Right.
bird flu.
But he was doing that thing that people with the flu do, where they shake your hand anyway. Like, and then somebody was there who told me, like, oh, he's got the flu, right? And and I was like, fuck. And she's like, don't worry, I've got hand sanitizer, right? And so
Right.
as he left, he shook my hand again,
Right.
And I was like totally smiling at him and stuff. And then the moment he left, I was like, put my hand out, and she poured hand sanitizer all over it. And I just thought he had just talked about how he was transgender and stuff. I thought how funny it would have been from somebody from the audience watching that interaction. Just me like, okay, take care, buddy. All right, bye now. Okay, you'll be good. Give me the fucking hand sanitizer right now.
Oh God, thank you. I don't know what I would have done if you weren't there. All right, so
They apparently cannot keep their hands off each other.
happy holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays.
I don't know how we
Some
didn't really
odd-
even get off to much other than I love talking about racism. I love talking about conspiracy theories, and I love talking about the holidays.
What are you going to do for the holidays?
I'm going to New York tomorrow. I'm going to be on some MSNBC show called Up with Chris Hayes, and I'm also going to do a bunch of spots in New York at the Comedy Cellar.
Oh, cool. You know that
It's a nice club.
Chris Hayes used to have a black show. It was called Sup with Chris Hayes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, true that. Was that going to make it?
That may or may not make it. I don't know. I like. Maybe this discussion will make it. Whether actually, you know what? Let's have the audience vote. If you could email and let us know if you thought that Moshe's sup joke was good, let us know. If you thought it was not a good joke,
So email thechamps@gmail.com.
email the gmail.com, which we haven't mentioned. We haven't been getting very many emails.
Subject is sup.
sup.
We have been getting one email requesting us to interview John Jones.
John Jones, who
every
now I know
single
who he
week.
is. Yeah,
Did
I
you
don't
see
know
the
how
fight?
to get to him. Yeah, now I saw him interviewed.
It was
he seemed
pretty
like a nice
gangster.
guy.
He's a nice guy. He's totally a nice guy.
I guess we could get to him, but it's just one guy who wants us. To
Every
interview John
week.
Jones.
Every
Yeah.
week he'll write us like a 4-page email, like examining,
We're saying really nice stuff, and then it'll be like, so
then
I guess this means you're going to get John Jones.
or in conclusion, as per expected, please get John Jones. We'd love to see John Bones Jones. So anyway, look, by the way, if you guys know any famous black people, and you want them on the Champs, connect us to them. Let's do this.
Yeah,
even
directly.
Black people.
Alive, famous black people.
Yeah, not any dead black people.
You know any dead famous black
Because
people?
I would have to take some of my own hair and sort of put it in a mortar and pestle with some frankincense and some baby urine from a Gentile baby in order to resurrect a black person for a podcast. That's a Jewish secret today. So
Yeah,
email.
you want to do that.
You
I
didn't
think,
like-
I think we got to get Byron back because
BB.
We never really got off.
Moshe just talked about a bunch of nonsense for the whole time.
Why
and
are
Byron
you
didn't.
attacking me?
I did only 2 things of nonsense.
I'm just kidding.
No, we've got on tape him saying that Jews are good disseminating information, which is the greatest. That's just such a great,
I had an epiphany.
crazy Southern black dude stereotype.
You tell one Jew something in 15 minutes, 100 Jews will know.
No, it's in an hour. 15 Jews will know.
15.
That is so That is so old-fashioned.
Let's tell Moshe something
with
and
horns.
see how
See
many
what happens.
Jews know about
What?
it.
No, yeah, Moshe. Will you be able to keep that secret? That's what Byron believes. That
It's my regular mouth will be able to keep it, but the mouth that I have in the back of my head, my Jew mouth, that one I don't control. That one that's controlled by the central government.
Happy holidays.
What are you
At
doing
Neal
for
Brennan.
the holidays?
I'm performing in Comedy Store OR, which I don't know what to expect.
I'll be there too.
Probably be a
It's
lot
fine.
of Jewish people
It's
there.
fine.
Yeah, probably.
Shalom.
So don't tell any jokes unless you want them stolen from you, because I'll immediately get back to Carlos Mencia somehow. I will be at the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs over the weekend doing like a Jew event.
I went to that last year.
Was it fun? No,
It was okay. Like Eric Andre was the comedian,
right. So
and
me,
a
Morgan
lot of
Murphy.
old Jewish people, and he's
Oh,
like
no.
doing his crazy thing, and
Totally.
like they're like politely smiling at him.
politely not laughing.
If I would have knew about the birthright trip earlier, I would have went.
You can't go.
I can't.
You're
go.
not Jewish?
There's ways around it.
Okay.
I would have been for that.
So
What's
you
that,
would have
to
cheated
Israel?
the Jews. How ironic.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy holidays. Jews, don't take it personally.
I will be at the Comedy Cafe over New Year's weekend, and also January 12th is my hour special taping. So fucks with me. Follow me at Moshe Kasher. Doug, what's up with you?
I'm gonna be doing the Holy Fuck show
Oh, cool.
in January 5th or something.
That's a
What
great
is that?
choice.
It's at some theater downtown. This big movie theater.
Really
Oh,
fun.
cool.
You should do it,
Los
man.
Angeles.
I would like
Yeah.
to do it.
I'm doing Meltdown also, and Josh and Josh show.
Beautiful.
coming
Oh,
up.
we got
Matter
crazy
of fact,
shows.
ByronBowersLive.com has my schedule on it. Follow me on Twitter,
Boom.
Facebook. I'm
Yeah,
there.
yeah. Keep it short. All right.
Ladies
God
and
bless
gentlemen, you've been fucked with
everybody.
the Champs. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays, buddy.